plan for your life? Do you know where you want to go? Are you looking to be happier, healthier, and wealthier while having more fun every day? Meet our empowerment architect and goddess gardener, Cynthia Bryan, as she engages in energetic exchanges with successperts, bringing you research, innovations, strategies, and techniques to strengthen your life, business, and personal spaces. Be inspired, motivated, encouraged, and empowered. Lend us your ears right here on Star Style. Be the star you are. The party starts now.
Well, hello, Power Partners, and welcome to Star Style. Be the star you are. This is the informal and informational and also informal playground of Star Style. And we are brought to the airwaves under the auspices of Be the Star You Are charity. I am Cynthia Bryan, and we are coming to you live on the Voice America Network. This is the Empowerment Channel. The miracle moment for today is brought to you by Be the Star You Are. You can visit the website, bethestaryouare.org. And this was quoted by Thich Nhat Hanh. When you meditate, be like the pebble at the bottom of a river. And the reason I like that one is because it is, again, just about letting it flow, letting it go. Well, we have a really great show for you today. Coming up in segment 2, you are really going to enjoy our guest, Dr. Don Martin. He's been with us before. But today we're going to talk about the right time to take the next step, whatever it is. Dr. Don has been the Dean of Admissions at many very prominent graduate schools, and he has over a 97 acceptance rate of the 600 undergrad and graduate school applicants that he has worked with, and he's actually been able to get them over $16 million in scholarship funding. He also was a former columnist for U.S. News and World Report magazine, and he's been on the show before with his book, Roadmap for Graduate Study, which is just a terrific, terrific book. So that's coming up in segment 2. Segment 3, we're going to give you the nominees of the 28th Screen Actors Guild Awards. And the awards are actually going to be announced, the winners, on February 27th. But this way, you'll get the nominees in each category. And I love the SAG Awards, which I have been voting in for all of these years, all 28 of them, because it's the only award platform where actors vote for their peer actors. So that is important. I want to remind you that today is the day for the virtual wine tasting called Deeply Rooted, the Deeply Rooted virtual hosted tasting. Heather Brittany is the sommelier and wine master. She was on the show a few weeks ago, and you can still get tickets, I think, and it's inexpensive as $10, and you can have as many people on this Zoom virtual tasting as you want. Go to danzadelsolwinery.com, and then when you get there, just click on virtual tasting. Danza del Sol Winery, DANZADELSOL Winery.com. It's going to be really, really fun. So we want you to, participate. And that starts immediately after our show today. It ends at 5 p.m. Pacific, and the virtual tasting starts then. So, of course, this past month has been really, we've focused a lot on racism, and we've talked about Dr. Martin Luther King. And he really was the face for nonviolent activism and the civil rights movement of the 1960s. And as you know, Dr. King was a minister, a husband, a father, and he fought for justice for all, not based on skin color, but based on all humankind. Now, February is actually, they call it Civil Rights Month. But although we've made some progress in the efforts that he started, as Americans, we really need more change. In November of 2021, I actually visited the National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, and that was the site of Dr. King's assassination on April 4th of 1968. And this is such an amazing museum. If you get to Memphis, you really must see it. It's one of my favorite museums I've ever been to, and it's globally recognized for civil rights and social change. It chronicles the millions of people who have fought for equal rights, beginning with the horrific enslavement of Africans in 1619. And slavery in America lasted 250 years, and over 12.5 million Black people over 12 generations were held captive as slaves. So as long as slavery existed, obviously there was resistance against it. But that museum really shows how horrific it was. And, we're still seeing so much racism in America today, and all the different political things that are happening, just even to deny African Americans or people of color their vote. We have to be so careful. We've really become the divided states of America, with so many states legislating to turn back the clocks to restrict equality for all. So we cannot allow any hate or ethnically motivated terrorism or any white supremacy ideologies to rise, because they will threaten our very existence in democracy, and we have to learn from history. The best thing we can do is live and abide by the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, which says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So I do want to encourage everyone to take a deep breath and embrace the resolutions that I outlined at the beginning of the year, just about a month ago, which are: be kind, be inclusive, be grateful, be present, be healthy, be of service, and be loving. When I was in high school and was a cheerleader, we used to chant, "United we stand, divided we fall." And I think about that all the time, because that cheer, that statement, is truer now than ever. So I am grateful to live in this great nation that has been deemed the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I want us all to be brave enough to protect our freedoms and our equality for all. So as we march into the future, I would like us all to live by the resonating words of Dr. King. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy to a friend. And while we're thinking of that, we should also live by the words of Mother Teresa, who said, "Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless." So we need to scatter a seed of kindness. My kindness coordinator for Be the Star You Are, a volunteer, Karen Kitchell, she had written these few words, and I thought that they're very apropos, especially since I'm also a gardener. But wildflowers often appear in unlikely places after someone has scattered some seeds, and they may never even know that they've sprouted. Kindness is also grow and multiply from one tiny seed that we spread. So, for example, a stranger hears you say hello, so they smile at the next person that they pass. And then that individual decides to take some time to stop and chat with their neighbor about a good book they read. And soon the neighborhood is putting up little free libraries in their community. And that's where a little boy picks up a book about kids living in Africa. And he asks his mom if he can send his allowance to the kids who don't have any books. And amazed at his generosity, the mom posts about her son's initiative. And soon there are many kids in Africa learning to read. And to think it all started with the seed of a simple hello. So let's scatter the seeds of kindness, of inclusivity, of gratitude, of being present, being of service, and being loving. And let's all stay healthy. Well, I'm Cynthia Bryan. You're listening to Star Style, Be the Star You Are. When we come back from break, Dr. Don Martin will be with us, and we're going to talk about the incredible timing that has been happening in his life right now, and how timing happens in all of our lives, as well as his book, Roadmap for Graduate Study. Don't go away. I'll be back in a bit with Dr. Don.
Be the star you are, the star you are. Be the star you are, you are the star.
Follow us on Twitter for more great ideas at Voice America Empowerment.
Get autographed copies of New York Times bestselling author Cynthia Bryan's books at www.starstyleradio.com. Get inspired and motivated to be your best self with Be the Star You Are, 99 gifts, and Be the Star You Are for teens. Buy cases at a deep discount to give away as gifts and premiums. Visit www.starstyleradio.com or call 925-377-STAR. 925-377-STAR. 925-377-STAR.
Are you seeking a dynamo speaker for your meeting, conference, or organization? Internationally recognized keynote speaker and New York Times bestselling author and lifestyle coach, Cynthia Bryan, will bring her energetic expertise, passionate professionalism, and ebullient personality to your event. Hailed as an expert in lifestyle, women's issues, self-help, personal balance, leadership, media, gardening, and interior design topics, Cynthia Bryan is a popular empowerment keynote speaker around the world, lecturing to audiences of 100 to 5,000. For rates and bookings, call 925-377-STAR, 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 and visit www.cynthiabryan.com. When you want the best, book Cynthia Bryan, www.cynthiabryan.com. Are you a teenager with lots to say, but no one to talk to? Let your creativity explode and your voice be heard on the radio program Express Yourself, a show by teens, for teens, and about teens. No topic is off limits as you connect with teens with attitude. Check out Express Yourself on the Voice America Kids channel and join our global community where teens talk and the world listens. www.btsya.com. You can express yourself.
What sets apart VoiceAmerica.tv from the other video content providers on the Internet? Choice and flexibility means that you can host your video content live or on demand on the main VoiceAmerica.tv channels through your own branded media player or your own private TV channel. We support multiple media formats, so all of your video content can be in one place. We offer a number of advertising and video packages. For more information, visit VoiceAmerica.tv. If you think you've seen online TV like this before, let us surprise you.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
It's power time on Star Style. Be the star you are with your passion, purpose, and possibility producer, Cynthia Bryan. Now, back to the power party.
Well, when we talk about purpose and possibility, I cannot wait for you to get connected once again with my good friend, Dr. Don Martin, who has been on the show before, but it's been a bit of a time, and he has really been working some amazing experiences lately. Before I introduce you, Don, I just want to say hello. Welcome to Star Style, Don Martin.
Cynthia, hello. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to be back in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's so exciting because anytime that we talk, you are so optimistic. You are so positive. You are so filled with energy. Yet you have had a lot of setbacks. But before we get to those, because you always turn your setbacks into comebacks, and then you even bounce higher. I just want to give our listeners a little bit of your background, because it is just so, I mean, I don't, I just can't get over that the schools, I mean, the universities that you've worked at. You were the Dean of Admissions or Financial Aid or Dean of Students at Columbia University, University of Chicago, Northwestern, as well as Wheaton College. I mean, those are some really credentials. And you have been a columnist with U.S. News and World Report. And of course, your book, Roadmap for Graduate Study, is an absolute must read for anyone who wants to go to graduate school, but I would also say just go to college. So that's just a little bit of introduction, and now we're going to go back to you. So, Dawn, I want you, if it's all right, I
Sure.
just want you to bring us up to speed, because it's been a couple years since you've been on the show, or I think when you updated, you did the update for a Roadmap for Graduate Study. You did the next edition.
That's
so
right.
Tell us what's been going on in business, professional, as well as personal, whatever you feel comfortable talking.
I come here again, Cynthia, with just truly a sense of continued gratitude. My life is one miracle after another. And I just, when I think about where things started out and early in my life and where they are now, it's night and day. And I don't think most people, myself included, would have ever connected the dots of where things started and where they've ended up. Very quickly, professionally speaking, Grad School Roadmap continues to grow in visibility and opportunity every single year. Every year is a better year than the year before, not just in terms of maybe visibility or opportunities to work with a greater number of students, but the successes of our students that we work with are just, their stories are so amazing. I feel like we share a bond in terms of the on many levels, one of them being the opportunity we get to hear people's stories and be so inspired by them. And that's one thing I get to do every day in my work, is work with these incredible applicants who have talked about facing obstacles and challenges many times and overcoming.
Well, and what I understand too is you have a 97% acceptance rate, and you have gotten over $16 million in scholarship funding for these students. Well, that's incredible.
It's been an opportunity to do for others what was done for me at certain points in my life, and that was to give hope that what we want to do, we can largely do, that it is possible, in this case, to pursue an undergraduate or graduate education. You can do that. It is possible to do. And so that has just been absolutely fantastic. Personally, very quickly, about a few months after you and I last connected on the show, I did experience a bit of a shock. I was noticing something going on in my body, and I went to the doctor and was referred to another specialist. And long story short, in the late fall of 2008, I was diagnosed with cancer. And
and that's such a scary diagnosis, isn't it, Don? It's really frightening when you hear it.
When you hear it about someone else, that's bad enough. I mean, when other folks I've known in my life were diagnosed with this, I sometimes, in terms of if they were loved ones or dear friends, I would lose a night or two of sleep. I would be it was just
concerned.
Concerned, yes. And so then, but when you hear the quote C word when you know it's in your body, it takes on a bit of a different level of seriousness, I would have to acknowledge. And my very first, I won't get into all of it, but just to tell you that since that time, in the past 3 years, I have watched this situation go from a diagnosis of cancer to the very last time I was checked last fall, probably 3-4 months ago. It is now undetectable. And
now that is a total miracle. I mean, you are really leading a miracle. And I want to ask you, because so many people are going through so many of these struggles now. And of course, we have the pandemic on top of that.
Yes, we do.
What do you think was the key element that kept you so upbeat, positive, and determined to get your body healthy? Was there any certain things that you were doing that you really feel if others did it, it might be helpful for them? I know everybody's road is different, but
yes, it is. And I also know that very positive, upbeat, miraculous people sometimes don't find out that their diagnosis becomes undetectable. It rather goes a different direction. And I'm very cognizant of the fact that not everyone has this happen. I will say, I do think one of the things that was helpful to me was that this was diagnosed somewhat early.
Yes, that's always a good thing, right?
I immediately, one of the things I did was get several opinions. I didn't just settle with one opinion. It's not that I didn't respect the doctor that first gave me the diagnosis, but I actually ended up going to one of the best cancer doctors for the particular cancer I'm dealing with in the country. I was able to get in to see this doctor, and that was extremely helpful. There were some treatments that were somewhat new that obviously are not as broadly advertised when they're just being developed. And so that was helpful. I also I know there's a debate about this out there, Cynthia, and I respect everyone's opinion, whichever opinion they hold. But for me, I found some information about some supplements that I could take and add to my daily intake of vitamins and supplements that I very much am a follower of and believer in well before my diagnosis happened. I added 2 or 3 of these to my daily routine of vitamins and supplements. And I have to say, that's another area that I believe helped. And lastly, I am not a religious person, but I am a highly spiritual person. And I do have a faith. I do believe, and I throughout the years of my life, I have found that in almost every case, what I thought could be a cloud had a silver lining for whatever reason. And I am already finding that this experience, going through it myself, has allowed me to be able to be of encouragement to some others who are finding this diagnosis and are, I'm able to say, not only do I sympathize, I empathize. I have cancer. They have not told.
You've been there. You've been there, or you are there, and you can relate.
I know how it feels, and I know that there are some illnesses in this world that end up claiming lives, not everyone is completely healed. But I also know of so many stories, even more so now that my diagnosis happened, of individuals whose lifespan was, they were given 3 months and they lived 7 years or 10 years, and I just made a decision. Now, I have to acknowledge, not every day at the beginning was a joyful, oh, I'm so grateful kind of feeling. I was shocked. It was a very stunning, and it was a very sobering moment in the beginning. And
it's very scary. I mean, it's all of those emotions are real, and you have to acknowledge them.
And your mortality becomes even more of a situation in your mind. It's like, oh, I guess I too I have mortality within Don Martin.
Yeah. We tend to think other people have mortality and we don't. Right? Yeah. So it's a wake-up call.
It is. It is a reality check, and very soon, I would say within 3 to 4 days of this diagnosis, and I can't say that I sank into the depths of despair either. I didn't feel myself, I didn't have that sense of devastation. It was just a sobering feeling. And then I found myself beginning again to recall some of the ways in which I tend to live my life, some of the ways I tend to think every day about my life and the gratitude that I feel. And I began to be able to truly and honestly say, okay, God, universe, I thank you. I'm not sure why this is happening. I don't know what is going to happen. I thank you that nothing has changed in terms of my being where I'm supposed to be at this point in time, even though I don't understand this and there may be a cloud. The sun is still shining behind the clouds, and it is going to shine again for me. And so those getting expert help, making sure I was taking care of my body and my mind, I think were what helped me as I look back.
Well, I completely agree with you on finding the path that is going to work for you. And I do think that your number one remedy in going and getting other opinions and then finding the specialist, the number one person, I think is crucial, because having had so much cancer and other things in my own family, I have found the exact same approach to be the wiser one. And I'll never forget one time when one of my family members was really sick, and the rest of the family just wanted to stick with the original rural doctor, and I was like, no, we're going to the specialist. And when we got to the specialist said, the thing is that most doctors see horses, but what you are is a zebra. And that resonated so much because the diagnosis was so rare, and it was something that nobody, most people don't see. So you needed a zebra doctor, not just a horse doctor. And that's what you found by going to the specialist. And then by taking the supplements and the nutrition that you needed, that you knew would spike your health. That is also so smart, because you were listening to your body, right?
Right. And I was given information. I had a support system around me, thankfully, and I found out about some of these supplements, and I thought I'm not going to focus on what could have been easy and can be easy for us to do sometimes. Was, as soon as I heard the C word, the D word came in, and that was death. And I thought, no, we're going to go up to the L word, which is life. That's what I'm going to go with. And that's where I'm going to keep my focus. And I thought, okay, I am a believer in for me, in supplements, vitamins. I truly believe have made a difference in my life. And so I was open to that avenue. And these things came together. And when I kept getting the report that either the cancer was seeming to get smaller, and then finally that it was undetectable, I truly, once again, I am a walking miracle, Cynthia, as it has been throughout my life. Let's
go back to throughout your life, because you have such a fascinating life, and even your educational arc is just unbelievable. And one of the things you really wanted to talk about today, and I do too, because I feel this is crucial. And you said you wanted to talk about timing in life, and how timing affects everything, and how incredible timing is. So let's go there.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is there could be someone listening to this conversation we're having who is thinking, timing. My timing in my life has been the worst they could have ever been, and I don't believe that there's anything in value or of value about timing. And I would say to that person, I absolutely, again, don't only understand, I empathize with that feeling, because for a time that's how it felt. I'm going to give you as quick of a synopsis here as I can, Cynthia. But my own. There were times in my life when I wished I hadn't been born. Things were so bad. I can't say I ever thought of suicide, but I just, if it was as if, if I was hit by a car today, or if something happened and I died, I probably would feel pretty good about that, because my life doesn't feel very good. And what's so interesting to me, my parents, my mother gave birth to 3 daughters before I came along. And in between, my third sister, who's closest to me in age, and my birth, she also was pregnant with a son. And that's what my parents, after having 3 daughters, they wanted a son. And my mother became pregnant for the 4th time and carried this baby full term. And back in the time when I was born, back in those days, obviously, this was not as well understood about what I'm about to say. But my brother was stillborn, and the umbilical cord took his life. It wrapped around his neck and took his life. And
it's so sad.
And yet, I have to say, had that not happened,
you wouldn't be here.
I'm not sure if I would have been thought about. And please know, I sometimes longed for a brother. But at the same time, I think to myself, if that had not happened the way it did, I may never have even been born. And then as I went through life, the timing of certain things that happened to me, and the teachers or the helpers or the miraculous, some of them I believe were guardian angels that came and protected me.
That's what I call them. I call them angels. They might be people in disguise, but they're angels.
I should not, we don't have time. I've thought of writing a book about it, but that I did not attempt suicide in my life, Cynthia, that I did not descend into a world of substance abuse or violence or incarceration or mental illness. It is another absolute miracle. My early years were nothing but a trauma and a terror on so many levels. And it was just awful. And I didn't enjoy living. I felt worthless. I felt defective. I felt inferior. I felt alone. It was just awful. And somehow, thanks to some individuals along the way, I slowly began to, I believe, be able to turn around some of that thinking that was so pronounced and had such a hold on me about how unvaluable I was and how worthless I was into, I believe that's not true. I don't know if that is true. I think there's something else about me. And I began to find my way. And the timing of the fact that I ever went to graduate school is a miracle. And the timing of that,
that's such an incredible story too. You have to tell that if you have time here.
Sure. Well, yes, education was not valued in my world growing up. In fact, it was almost viewed as evil or suspect. So I was pretty much told where I was going to go to college. I was pretty much told what I was going to do with my career, and by the time I got to finish college, I just knew that there was no way I was going to do that. There was no way. But I didn't have a lot of other options. And so I decided, I was just pretty much on a whim. I thought, I'm going to go to grad school. And when I got admitted, when I told certain people in my life that were pretty important at that time, when I told them, you would have thought for some of them that I told them I'd been incarcerated. I mean, they were absolutely beside themselves trying to talk me out of this. And then I was accepted initially to start graduate school in the fall of 1979, after I graduated, and college. In between that period of time, Cynthia, the institution I attended undergraduate came to me and offered me a job as an admissions counselor. I did not know this was coming. I had no idea. And I chose to accept that position.
And did you even have the credentials to be an admissions counselor at that time? Yeah, this was like a total miracle too,
I
right?
had no prior admission. Well, here's another story I may not have shared with you. They had just decided about 3 months before talking with me that they were going to create this brand new position for an admissions counselor there. And what happened was I was invited to speak. About a month after that, I was invited to speak at an event, an admissions event, to talk with prospective students about my time at the college. And I agreed to do that. It just so happens that, unbeknownst to, I think, anyone there, the president of the college showed up at that recruiting event. It was not expected. He did not say he was going to be there. He kind of just decided to go. And when I finished speaking, I learned this later. He leaned over to the vice president of whatever it was that was in charge of admissions and said to that gentleman, "That's our man."
Wow.
And had he not been there, had I not been there, and then because I took that job, I ended up deferring my graduate education for 2 years. And by doing so, when I finally started my graduate school at the end of the first year, lo and behold, deja vu. It happened all over again. The director of graduate admissions, I was at Wheaton College at the time, came to me. I was in the hall getting ready for a final exam. He said, "Don, we've got an opening for an admissions counselor here. Our admissions counselor just left to go to law school. Would you be interested?" And lo and behold, that happened. I took the job, but that offer would have never been possible had I started grad school 2 years earlier as I'd planned.
And you had no idea you would love it so much. And here you are all these years later, having worked with over 600, students.
It has been the joy of my life career-wise. I fell in this work. That was one of the two most pivotal decisions I ever made, was to accept that admissions job. And had that president not attended that event, who knows? I mean, I think back on these things, and I could tell you 50 more.
You know what my takeaway from that is, Don, and when we talk about the incredible timing of our lives, is that, again, at the beginning of the show, I gave a quote that is basically about letting the river flow. I just talked about how when you meditate, be like the pebble at the bottom of a river. So, you just have to flow with things. You just have to go with it. And what you did is it appears to me is at so many junctures of your life, when there were many roads, you always listened to your gut. So there were serendipity that happened, but you could have easily said no, or you could have said, "I've written my goals, I've got a plan, I'm sticking to it." Instead, you decided to go with whatever your gut was telling you. Do I have that about right?
I think there is truth to that. I think there is an inner voice that does guide us with the help of the God of our understanding and our sense of faith. And I do believe that I was able to follow that voice at critical times in my life. Yes, I do. And what's amazing to me and miraculous is that, on the one hand, it took me a long time, Cynthia, before I consciously came to trust myself as much. But there were moments in the midst of that where I believe my guardian angels were helping me to trust myself in a given moment to make a decision of that magnitude. And that decision, I have never left my career of enrollment and student services, admissions work. I've never left. I started my 42nd year this year.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Well, that leads me right into your book that we at least have to touch on. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Dr. Don Martin. As you can hear, he's one miracle after another, but he's had a really incredible life by really listening to his inner voice and going with what he felt was right. And it's just worked out pretty well for him. But his book is Roadmap for Graduate Study, and he has a revised edition that he did a couple of years ago. And what's so amazing, I mean, I love your book, Don, and I think it's because it's coming from someone who has lived it, walked the talk. You're actually an insider. You're actually a person who is on the other end of getting these admissions, so you know what what people are looking for out of school, right?
Well, I believe I felt excited to present the book for two reasons. First, yes, to your point, I have earned 2 graduate degrees myself. But in addition, Cynthia, for 28 years, I was an admissions dean. During that time, I evaluated well over 125,000 applications. So I'm in a position to be both on either side of that table. And I believe that has helped me to bring a perspective to the book, to my work, to helping students navigate this process, both being able to tell them, look, I've been where you are twice. I've been there. I know what it feels like. And I've also been on the other side of the desk evaluating applications. So I'm so very blessed.
That is incredible. Well, your website is gradschoolroadmap.com, gradschoolroadmap.com. And I'm very excited because we're going to have you come on Express Yourself Teen Radio in March to talk to our teens who are doing college apps, and there's, from all the kids I work with, it is the most stressful time of their life, these college apps, or if they're going to try to go to grad school. And I think you have just so much wisdom to give them. But most of all, I am so happy, Don, that you are healthy, that you are continuing your work, because, I don't look at your work, your what you're doing as work. I look at it as a calling. I think you have a mission.
It is a passion. Education changed my life, Cynthia. It opened doors. It truly, both personally, intellectually, professionally, in every way. I am living proof of what an education can do, and it took me to places I could have never imagined. And so this is not a job to me. It's
not a job. It's a calling.
It's a calling. It is what I love. It is absolutely. It's why I don't want to stop.
Well, and I have to just add one thing. I have a feeling that it's also why you're healthy again, because you have so much more to give. Yes. And, I mean, it's like giving is receiving, and you want to just keep helping people and helping your students and being there for people. And there's just something so incredibly gracious about that.
Well, when you have a real reason to get up every day and an excitement about what you do, and you love what you do, I think it keeps you younger, healthier, more energetic, and just overall happier and more content. And that just has huge dividends all around.
Well, I want people to look at your photo. You can go to gradschoolroadmap.com or go to cynthiabryan.com. He's on the blog. Go to Star Style Radio. He's there, the picture. Your photos are just so full of passion, energy, excitement, love, gratitude. I feel everything coming from it. Well, John, it has been fantastic to have you on Star Style.
Thank
you can follow him on Twitter, Grad School Guide. Go to his website, gradschoolroadmap.com. And I know the teens are really looking forward to having you on the show. So we're going to get to do this again, but in a different realm, because you'll be actually speaking to the young people who definitely need you. So congratulations on everything, and just keep that health going. And I love the empathy, because now that you've walked through such another difficulty, that you've come out the other side, it's like the story of your life, right?
Well, I'd like to close with a 10-second quote. Do we have time to do that?
Please, yes, please.
This is not original with me, but it has made it. I say it so often, and here it is. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I am safe.
That is so beautiful and so powerful. And talk about seeing the positive. You are living it in the moment. I am safe. All is good.
That's exactly.
Don Martin, thank you so much for being on Star Style. Be the star you are.
You again. You made my day.
Yes, it is really, it's just so great. You made my day. Go to gradschoolroadmap.com and don't go away. We're going to give you the announcement of the nominees for the SAG Awards. I'll be right back. Thanks again, Don.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be the star you are. The star you are. Be the star you are. You are the star.
Change your world. Change your life. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Be the star you are. The star you are.
The annual cost of illiteracy to American taxpayers is over $225 billion. Help increase literacy, reduce violence, and improve positive media messages by making a tax-deductible contribution to Be the Star You Are charity. A top-rated nonprofit, Be the Star You Are promotes positive role models, produces positive radio broadcasts, and donates positive books to empower women, families, and youth. Be a power partner and join our galaxy of stars. Visit our website at BeTheStarYouAre.org to make a tax-deductible donation using PayPal or send checks to P.O. Box 376, Moraga, California, 94556. BeTheStarYouAre.org. Dare to care.
You are the star.
Follow us on Twitter for more great ideas at Voice America Empowerment.
It's power time on Star Style. Be the star you are with your passion, purpose, and possibility producer, Cynthia Bryan. Now, back to the Power Party.
Well, we are back. It is always so much fun to talk to Dr. Don Martin, and you'll have to read his book. Because it truly is great, especially if you are trying to get into college or go to grad school. He just lines it out for you, roadmap for graduate study, but he also knows everything about getting into any university. But talk about optimism. That's Dr. Don. So what a joy. Well, for the past 28 years, I have been voting in the annual Screen Actors Guild Awards, which are the only awards that is actually peer-to-peer. In other words, you have to be a member of Screen Actors Guild in order to vote, and we are voting for our fellow actors, which I really love. Now, this year, it is going to air on Sunday, February 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on TNT. And I wanted just to give you some of the nominees so that you can start watching and see what you like. So up for outstanding performance by a cast. So the Screen Actors Guild Awards are a little bit different. So they don't just say, the best movie or best, they say the outstanding performance by a cast. Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, House of Gucci, and King Richard. And I don't know if you've seen any of these yet, but I was blown away by King Richard, which is the story of the great sister tennis players. And I think that I loved it. But, you got to make sure to watch them all. So outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role, Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter, Lady Gaga in House of Gucci. I have not seen House of Gucci yet, and I love Gaga, but I'm going to be on a Zoom call with her on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'll probably be watching House of Gucci this week. Jennifer Hudson in Respect, haven't seen that yet either. That's on my list. Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos. That was, if you loved I Love Lucy, it's an interesting take, a different take on that. And Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. She's definitely a chameleon, Jessica is. I don't know if you have just seen her in Scenes from a Marriage, but also she's very good in that. So, outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role is Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos. He plays Desi Arnaz, and again, excellent. Benedict Cumberbatch in Power of the Dog. That is a very powerful, powerful show. Andrew Garfield, Tick, Tick, Boom. Wow. Um, Amazing. The crazy thing with Tick, Tick, Boom, if you don't know any of the background, is Andrew really didn't know how to sing. And when he was asked if he could sing by the great Lin-Manuel, he said, how much time, when are you going to shoot? And Lin says, oh, about a year. And so Andrew was like, yeah, I can sing. And then he just got down to it, taking singing lessons, and he learned to play the piano. You've got to see Tick, Tick, Boom. Amazing. Will Smith in King Richard playing the father. He was amazing. He was hardly even recognizable. And then Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. So if you're a Shakespeare lover, you will probably find that very interesting. In outstanding performance by female actor in a supporting role, I can't give any more descriptions because I'm running out of time, but I'll just tell you who it is. We have Ariana DeBose in West Side Story, Catriona Balfe in Belfast, Ruth Negga in Passing, Kate Blanchett in Nightmare Alley, and Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role, Ben Affleck, Tender Bar, Bradley Cooper, Licorice Pizza, Troy Kosker in Coda, Jared Leto in House of Gucci, and Cody McPhee in Power of the Dog. In television, an ensemble performance that's nominated: Handmaid's Tale, Morning Show, Squid Game, Succession, and Yellowstone. And for performance by a female in a drama series, Jennifer Aniston from Morning Show, as well as Reese Witherspoon, Sarah Snook in Succession, Elizabeth Moss, Handmaid's Tale, and Young Ho Young in Squid Game. And in for the male actor in a drama series, Brian Cox, Succession, Billy Crudup, The Morning Show, Kieran Culkin in Succession, Lee Young Ajay in Squid Game, and Jeremy Strong in Succession. You can see Succession has a lot of competition there. Then an ensemble for best performance for TV, The Great, Hacks, Kaminsky Method, Only Murders in the Building, and Ted Lasso. All wonderful, but I love Kaminsky Method because it is about acting. And then there are still more that I didn't get to tell you. So you can actually go to the sagawards.org and you'll be able to see a whole list. And then you can tune in on in February 27th at 8 p.m. to find out. In the meantime, I've got a lot of films and TV I've got to watch. I'm really looking forward to doing all of it. I've been on the nominating committee, so I've gotten to see most everything, but there's still a few performances I'm rewatching because I take this very seriously. I care a lot about voting and want to be as fair as possible. But I have to say this year, all of the performances are just absolutely exquisite. The actors are just incredible and so noteworthy. Well, that's our show for today. I appreciate you listening to Star Style, Be the Star You Are. Make sure you are tuned in to Voice America for lots of great information, and to Star Style, Be the Star You Are every Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific. You can change your life. You can make your dreams come true. For more information about Star Style Productions or me, Cynthia Bryan, visit CynthiaBryan.com, and that's Bryan with an I. To make a donation by credit card to Be the Star You Are, you could do it on PayPal. Go to BeTheStarYouAre.org or just get information there. My aim is always to encourage, inspire, inform, amuse, and motivate. Want you to see beyond your physical being and know you are already the star you dreamed of becoming. Cherish the past, dream of the future, but celebrate every moment of your life because it's all we have. And until next Wednesday, when we celebrate once again right here on the Voice America Network, remember, love always wins, kindness always prevails, and smiles will keep us happy. My name is Cynthia Bryan for Star Style, thanking you and encouraging you to be the star you are. Be your unapologetically authentic self. Have a wonderful week. Dream, create, inspire, make a difference, and mostly be kind. Thanks for joining me.
Be the star you are. The star you are. Be the star you are. You are the star.
It's been a pleasure bringing you our life-changing program, Star Style, Be the Star You Are. We have you on our radar, as it's our goal to inspire, inform, entertain, and motivate you to be the star you were born to be. For more information, visit starstyleradio.com. And to make a donation to the charity, go to BeTheStarYouAre.org. Ignite the flame that burns brightly within. Take charge of your life and coach yourself to success with our dynamic host and empowerment architect, Cynthia Bryan, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Voice America Empowerment Channel for another serving of champagne for the spirit and a power boost to live with Star Style. Until we celebrate together next week, be the star you are.